What's your problem? You already ate. This is my son's 1990 Miata NA. It had the 1.6 liter, you know, that one that's got the faulty crankshaft where the front keyway strips off it. We went ahead and fixed that and put a used crankshaft in it. Here's what's left of it. That's the chassis from the car. Anyway, it just was dreadful. It didn't have any power. And he had the opportunity to buy a high output 302 and a Borg Warner world-class T5 out of a 91 Mustang. So he went ahead and did it, and we got to looking at the cost to do this Miata conversion, and it just didn't seem to make sense. For what it would cost, you could just go buy a ready-to-go 5.0 Mustang or even a used Corvette for the price it was going to cost to do this conversion. So we got to talking, and I'm a welder fabricator, and I'm retired, so I said, you know, how about I do the subframes and all the fabrication and bring the cost way down, like by, you know, a couple of $1,000s at least. Well, then it became feasible to do the project. Then we thought, you know, this might be doable if we can save all that money. But anyway, this is going to be the only long video. I'm going to do 7 videos, or I'm going to do videos until this is done. The reason I'm doing the video is because we need to have this done in 7 days. It's April the 7th. It needs to be done by April the 13th because he wants to take it to an event. And that was the goal. I've been working on this for 7 weeks. I fabbed up the subframes. As you can see, they've been modified. I did the modifications on it, you know, got them all prepped and ready, reinforced, all that good stuff that you got to do. There is currently no transmission in it. We put new frame rails, welded up these transmission mounts. It's got the new pressure plate, clutch, flywheel installed. But as you can see, we're far from being done. You know, that's just being held up by a jack. This is it's the 302 that he bought. It's got the forged pistons. It's got a lot of mileage on it. But anyway, all these mounts and stuff you see down there, I fabbed those up out of plate I had here, out of scrap metal. But we're having a lot of fitment issues right now. You can see the stack of shims down here in the motor mount that I'm experimenting with. We're having trouble with fitment issues. You know, that's why they sell a kit for this, but it's expensive. If you do it on your own and you wing it like we're doing, you run into all kinds of weird problems. But, you know, I've done all the mods on the firewall back here to the corner. Pounded the tunnel in like they said. And it's in there. But right now, like I said, I just got the radiator. This is from a 95 Miata NB. I modified all that and got the radiator and the cooling fans just in there. They just fit without hitting anything, as you can see. But having this thing done 7 days from now, I don't know if we can do it. And my son works full-time. He gets home in the dark, and then when he is off on weekends, a lot of time he does side jobs. So he's helping as much as he can. Last night we were out here in the dark. He was working on putting the front shocks and the A-frames and everything back on. and I was working on, this is the transmission mount. This is the transmission mount. It's made out of 1/4-inch plate, 6 inches wide. That center plate's recessed up in there so the bolts won't scrape on speed bumps and stuff, because these Miatas are notorious for scraping the frame rails against the ground. So that's the reason this is so thin, and it's 6 inches wide, because we needed some kind of strength, because the exhaust goes above that plate, and below that plate 4 inches away is the pavement. So you don't want this, if you go over a speed bump, you don't want the transmission mount getting slammed. So I tried to keep it as low pro as possible. So that's where we're at. There's so much to do. The drive shaft company said that the custom drive shaft is finished, so I think he's going to pick it up today. It's Sunday, this April 7th. It's the day before the big eclipse everybody's talking about. Plus, we're just in the middle of replacing the soft top, and we're having fitment issues, as you can see right there. Especially when the window's up, you can't even get the damn door open. The back window, we're having a lot of trouble getting this to stretch over to the bolt holes. We don't know what to do about that. We're hoping it gets hot out so we can get it to stretch so we can bolt that on. Right now it's impossible to get it to stretch. The interior's out of it. He's in charge of doing all the wiring, so when at night, in the evenings, and on weekends, he does wiring, chassis, suspension. I'm in charge. Oh boy, and then there's the exhaust. See, the transmission's there. That's not even, there's the transmission. We just got that prepped. I was out here in the dark last night making the slave cylinder mount. It's not completely done yet, but it's all, you know, threaded. I mean, it actually took like 3 hours to make that stupid mount. There's modifications that have to be made to get it all to work and get everything lined up. It's a bit of a, I mean, you know, first the bell housing was wrong and the starter wouldn't line up and it was grinding. Then we find out the bell housing is completely wrong. It wouldn't work. Then we got the new bell housing. Then we find out that the old clutch fork wasn't going to work on the new bell housing. So we quickly ordered that. These two boxes here from JY Performance, that's the exhaust system. That's a whole nother story. In here, got it from Amazon, JY Performance. It's a complete 2 1/4 inch exhaust kit, but you got to cut everything yourself. It just comes with a bunch of pieces that you can weld together, and you just got to like figure out how to put the puzzle together. It's completely on the user to get it figured out. We got some titanium exhaust wrap because we're going to have to put this exhaust right up against the body of the car. So we got that wrap. And then, oh boy, well, my son, you know, he was looking at spending, the headers to do this swap are $800, and I think it's either from Monster Miata or Flying Miata online. Maybe both of them sell them, I don't know, but one of them definitely sells headers. They're about $800 for a pair, and they're special headers just for this swap, and trust me, you need them. So what we're planning on doing is, I don't even know if it's going to work. We're having fitment issues. We were going to just put these on backwards. We were going to bolt these onto the motor and point these out the front towards the sway bar, and then have them curve around and go through the A-frames on the front suspension. But come to find out, right here, I had to cake this whole rib off, and then right here, I had to cut that whole rib off. Then there was a big, like an emissions hump right here, a big old thing. I had to sawzall that all off and then grind it down. And come to find out, this is still hitting the steering shaft. So we might be screwed. But the plan is to do some Frankenstein freaky exhaust system that, like, it heads out towards the front bumper and then makes a turn right in front of the sway bar like that, and then goes backwards through and by the shock and then down under the car. And that was my brilliant idea, so we didn't have to spend $800 on the custom headers. So as you can see, this is a big problem. Obviously, we're not going to be able to get it inspected if it doesn't have exhaust on it. And you know, this car is not registered, it's not inspected, it's not insured, it has no exhaust system. It is far from being done, and he really wanted to have this done for the event that he wants to go to. It's like a weekend thing where you can run down the track, you pay to get in, and I don't know, he just was looking forward to going, and we planned this like 2 months ago, and I said, hey, I think we can do it. But it keeps raining. It just rained for like 3 hours, you know. Every time it rains, there's mud everywhere, and it's annoying. I mean, it's pretty dry on the slab right here, but every time I turn around, it's raining again. And to make things even worse, see this pile of rubber hoses here? That's all we got. We're going to try to Frankenstein a cooling system together. And the problem is, you got things like this that are 1.75 inches wide, and it's supposed to go on to this little tiny 1.25 inch Mazda radiator. The same with the bottom. Well, actually, the bottom's worse. This is 1.5 inches down to 1.25, not so bad. But this bad boy here, this is 1.75 inches, and then it has to go down to 1.25. So we've got to get that. We've got to get that to attach to that. That's 1.25. And I don't even know if this little radiator, I mean, it's 2.5 inches deep. It's a 2-row, all aluminum. I don't even know if we can do it. So anyway, this is going to be the only long video. Each day after this, starting tomorrow, the day of the eclipse, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'm just going to do a little quick video to show the progress and post it on YouTube there just for the hell of it. I just thought it would be interesting, the suspense, to see if we can actually pull this off inside of 1 week. I really have my doubts, but I sure am going to try, and I know my son's going to help me as much as he can. But anyway, I haven't posted any videos before, but you know, yesterday I looked at this project, and it rained half of yesterday, and I couldn't do anything out here, and I thought, I didn't know whether to laugh or cry. I was just standing here under the little carport watching it rain. I didn't even get out here till 1 o'clock in the afternoon yesterday to do anything. You know, it's hard to pull all your stuff out when you don't have anywhere that's really covered to work and fabricate stuff. So when it's raining, obviously we put plastic and put the hood back on and cover everything up, because we can't do anything. So I was just sitting here watching the rain, and I just started laughing, and I'm like, wow, this isn't going to happen. And you know, I was kind of upset and excited at the same time because of the time constraints, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to film this and put it on YouTube. And I figured it'll just be neat to see if we can finish it. Otherwise, you know, next Friday or Saturday or whenever the 13th is, I'll be doing a video saying, well, we didn't make it. But what the hell, man? We're going to give it a shot. See you tomorrow.